Today in society, there are many different sides we can choose. There is pro-abortion or pro-life, to vote for Clinton or for Trump, to be homosexual or heterosexual. In many ways, we choose these sides are people persuading other people to go on their side. Another side we can choose is to believe in the existence of God or not to believe in the existence of God. And there are a few people with these opinions. There are atheists who believe that there are no God. There are agnostics that don't know if there's a God or not. And then there are some people who just don't think about the existence of God at all. So I'm going to try to persuade these kind of people to believe that there is a God and there is an existence of a God. I'm going to present 5 claims that are actually broken down into arguments. They are a moral argument, a cosmological argument, a teleological argument, and a biological argument, and a logical argument. So the first time we see, or the main point we see in the existence of God in the Bible actually presents it as if a person does not know Jesus or excluding the scripture. And we see this in Romans 1:18 through 20, and it says, "But God shows his anger from heaven against all sinful, wicked people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. They know the truth about God because he has made it obvious to them. For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, so they have no excuse for not knowing God." So this brings us to our first claim, or our first argument, which is the moral argument. And basically what that is people have a conscience of knowing what is right and what is wrong. And we see that in verse 19 where it says they know the truth. The truth being what is right or what is wrong. There's a book called Following God Through the Bible, the book of Romans, where it focuses on that verse 19. And it says, everyone was embedded with the knowledge of truth and righteousness. So it's basically saying we know what the difference between right and what wrong is. And then that brings us to our second claim, or our second argument, which is the cosmological argument. And that's basically the evidence of the existence of God through creation. So when we look at all the creation, the plants, the animals, the sky, the water, we know that there has to be a creator. Just like when we look see a painting, we may not see the painter, but we know that there is a painter. There's another book called Systematic Theology, and what it says is creation gives evidence of God's existence and character. So when we see creation, we know that there is a creator, which is God, and his character is that he is greater than his creation. So then we move on to our third claim, or our argument, which is the teleological argument. And teleological came from the word telos, which means purpose or goal. And what it means is that things that have a beginning have to have a cause or a purpose. Just like a design of something needs a designer. And we can see this when we look at the difference between the Grand Canyon and Mount Rushmore. We see the Grand Canyon is formed by natural causes, or Mother Nature, as you call it. But when you look at Mount Rushmore and you see the faces, we know that that's not caused by natural causes. That's caused by people or a creator. It's the same way when we see people in the creation in earth. We know that that's caused by a creator. Those things aren't just caused by natural causes. There's too much detail into that. I went to the website called gotquestions.org, and it said the human brain can hold 10 million gigabytes of storage. Something with that much storage or that much thought that you can hold is not just brought about by chance. There must be a designer or a purpose for something that intellectual. Then we go into our fourth claim, or our fourth argument, which is a biological argument. And we get all our information from this website on this point from andrewcorbett.net. And what it said, and it's talking about creation, it says, To believe that this level of apparent design happened either by chance or randomly is a mathematical equation of probability that is a number with thousands of trillions of zeros. So what it's saying, the probability of creation happening by chance is just about impossibly scientific. There's no way all this could happen by chance, is what it's saying. And what it means is the Earth being the right distance from the sun so we don't burn up or freeze to death, the number of gases to keep our atmosphere containing that we're not crushed by gravity, the organs in a human, they're all working, and just for a person to survive, they need to all be working at the same time. So for this just to happen by coincidence is just about scientifically impossible. What that's the biological argument is saying. Then we move on to our last claim or our last argument, which is the logical argument. And it gave us 5 points, and I got it off this website, and it says that from alwaysbeready.com. And the first one is that things do exist. Even an atheist can't argue with that. When we see other people and other animals, we see that things do exist. It's inevitable. Point two is that nothing does not produce something. A way to think about that is try to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the peanut butter, the jelly, or the bread. It's impossible. We can't make something out of nothing. Then we move on to point three. Something has always existed. That goes back to point two, because since something has always existed, other things have existed. If nothing has never existed, then we wouldn't be here today. Something has to have always been in existence. Then we move on to point four in this, where it says the universe has not always existed, because at one point in time they had thought the universe was stationary, but later on in time it was scientifically proven that that was wrong. They took a telescope and saw the galaxies and the universe expanding. So in order for that to happen, the universe had to start somewhere, which means that it had to be created. So then we look at these 4 points and we move on to point five, where it says, because of the first 4 points, and since they are scientifically proven and are true, there must be an eternal power beyond the universe that caused the universe to come in existence. There's no way these things can happen by chance. There must be an eternal power that we can't see that has caused this to exist. So we've looked at 5 claims or 5 arguments. The first being the moral argument, which every person has a conscience of knowing what is right and what is wrong. We looked at the cosmological argument, which is we see creation and know there must be a creator. We looked at the teleological argument, which is that everybody has a purpose. There's no way that this design of people and the earth cannot happen without a design there. Then we look at the biological argument, which shows that the earth and the people around the earth, there's no way that all these conditions happen by chance, with the measurements of everything being exactly right. And then we look at the last one, the logical argument, with 5 points, saying that all these things were proven scientifically, that there's no way, or there has to be an eternal power beyond the universe that calls us into existence. So hopefully after this speech, you're persuaded to believe that there is a God that exists, and that the chances of things happening on their own without a God is basically impossible.